Good afternoon, my name is Ryan Appleby, and today I would like to constructively share the lifestyle of a religious group known as the Rastafarians. I'm sure a majority of you all have been brought into this world learning some kind of religion, whether it was a Catholic religion, Buddhism, Islam, so on and so on. And even if your family didn't practice a religion, there is still some sort of religious belief you may have connected with. Now, when people hear of Rastafarians, they usually would think of Jamaicans who smoke weed and listen to reggae music all day. Well, actually, there's a lot more than that. Rastafari is a religion that was developed in Jamaica in the 1930s. Rastafari began with the colonization of Africa, also known as Ethiopia, where the European powers took many Africans as slaves, and the people of Africa divided up and sent into exile as captives throughout the world. When the movement of Rastafari began, the Rastafarians followed a prophecy made by Marcus Garvey, whom was a black political leader. Although Garvey did not practice the religion, he was a religious prophet because his ideologies grew into Rastafari over time. The prophecy was rapidly followed by the crowning of Emperor Haile Selassie I. The Rastafari religion takes after his original name. Every religion has its own unique background that creates an empowering future for most. We all are entitled to our own opinions, though some may not agree with others. It is in our best interest to keep a respectful, open mind to all. Just as we are accepted into our society, the Rastafarians as well should be accepted into society and be allowed to do what they want for their religious beliefs. I will be going into more detail about the hypocrisy of our country towards the Rastafarians, why the Rastafarians grow dreadlocks, and lastly, their dieting habits that could positively influence our society. Our country allows so many biblical literates to live freely amongst our society, yet there is a hypocrisy towards the Rastas in not allowing them to live freely within their religious beliefs. According to Professor Snyder, the Rastafarians smoke ganja in a ritual way. Before inhaling the natural plant, the Rasta will say a prayer to Ga, also known as their God, or to Haile Selassie I. The Rasta call them reasoning sessions. Though because smoking ganja is illegal in almost every country, it is very, very difficult for the Rastas to continue their religious practice. The Drug Policy Alliance states that during hearings on marijuana laws in the 1930s, there were negative claims being made which caused the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 to become banned from its use and sales. Though they also state that in 1996, California became the first state to approve use of marijuana for medical purposes. That being said, is there a sufficient reason why this religious practice is frowned upon in our society? Also, the Constitution of the United States of America states in the First Amendment that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting free exercise. By illegalizing the usage of marijuana, it is preventing the Rastafari religious group to continue with their practice without being punished. Therefore, this contradicts the amendment. Rastafarians are stereotyped into not only smoking ganja, but also obtaining lengthy dreadlocks where society unfortunately socializes such look in a negative manner of being poor. According to author Dub, the hairstyle was worn by warriors in Kenya in a hairstyle of ancient Kemet in Nubia. However, in Jamaica and post-slavery, the Eurocentric culture, the hairstyle was deemed in the early years as dreadful. There are other beliefs, such as Rastas wearing dreadlocks to resemble the mane of a lion. The lion signifies respected king of the animal kingdom, as well as humble animal. There are other beliefs, such as, according to Professor Snyder, in her research, she came across an incident where in a South African school where a young child was not given the right to go to school because of her dreadlocks. Here, I don't really understand how a person has the right to ban a child of pursuing their education due to basically their foundation. It's relevant to telling a teacher or an adult she cannot teach because of her skin color. Going back to when I mentioned earlier about the history behind dreadlocks, there should be a clearer understanding to why Rastafarians obtain such a unique look. To better support, it is known that Rastafarians grow their hair into dreadlocks because it is part of a Nazarite vow. All Rastafarians take this vow and claim it to be commanded by the Bible. We as society should be encouraging our peers of their beliefs and not tearing them down. Our society could also learn a lot of beneficial characteristics from the Rastafarians if we would have the chance to become open-minded to all. For instance, their dieting habits. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Services, since the early 1960s, the prevalence of obesity among adults more than doubled, increasing from 13.4 to 35.7% in the U.S., adults aged 20 and older. This can cause many diseases for us in America, or in the U.S., in our society, and our society should also use that as examples on how to properly intake foods. In fact, there has even been known studies to find Rastafarian diets on the web giving people a dietary plan. According to a National Geographic worker, Nowaski, while interviewing a Rastafarian of the name Nashamba, she had come to understand that the Rastas eat pure organic food because it increases one natural's connection with the nature. And getting that food directly from the land is just one more way of strengthening that bond. The healthier you eat, the less you have to see a doctor. This is a quote from a Rasta that our society should take into account. In the type of world we live in today, we have come to realize that there are more out there than just simply our own beliefs. Being accepted to all, whether you agree to them or not, is one step closer into accepting yourself in this world as a whole. The Rastafarians shouldn't have to struggle to fight for their rights everywhere they turn. They should be accepted into our society just as we'd hope to be accepted into theirs. Our country has great intentions and should take into account for the hypocrisy they are tending to hold towards the Rastafari religion. The smoking of ganja and the dreadlocks are the Rastas' way of life. That's their traits they've grown into through their religious practice. And finally, not to hate on our country in the slightest, but our obesity rates have been increasing by the year. And maybe it is time for us to be influenced by the Rastas on how they maintain such a healthy lifestyle. Whether you're smoking some weed, reading the Bible, or studying for a huge test, let's all remember that we don't actually have to be here, but we have this great opportunity in life. So let us live in peace and acceptance. Thank you everyone for listening to my speech on the Rastafari religion. I hope you all have a wonderful day.